Prince Chima, worried, went back to the palace and called out Chisom. He asked her about the cooking test and if there was something she hadn't told him. At first, Chisom was quiet. She wanted to deny it, but couldn't. She knew, after all, that keeping the secret would not help her and the kingdom. So then she told the truth. She had Once upon a time, in a kingdom bathed in African sun, there lived a king named Okeke. His realm was a tapestry of vibrant cultures and traditions. The king had a son, Chima. Prince Chima was famous in the kingdom. Every girl dreamed of marrying him because he was kind and very handsome. As time turned pages, King Okeke grew older, and one day he called Prince Chima to his side. "My son," he said, "the crown needs a queen. It's time for you to marry." In their land, to be crowned the king, one must first find a heart to share it with, that is, have a queen. Prince Chima, wise beyond his years, understood the weight of his father's words. In the village are many beautiful maidens, and he knew that beauty isn't just what the eyes can see, it's also what the heart can feel. Prince Chima wanted a wife who was kind and good, not just pretty. He thought deeply. Then an idea sparked in his mind. "Let's have a test for the girls," he said. "The best one will be my queen." In the same kingdom lived two friends, Chisom and Amaka. They were like morning and evening stars, different but equally beautiful. They were like sisters, always together, and everyone said they were the most beautiful girls in the village. When Chisom and Amaka heard about Prince Chima's test, they were excited. "I wonder what the test will be," they thought. They decided to help each other, no matter what. On the day of the announcement, the village gathered in a burst of color and excitement. Maidens like flowers in bloom adorned themselves in their finest attire. Among them, Chisom and Amaka shone like the brightest stars in the darkest night. As Prince Chima stepped forward, the air hushed. His voice rolled over the crowd like gentle waves, announcing the test. "There would be 3 parts to this test," he said. "First is a dancing competition, second is a cooking contest, and the last one is a surprise test." The girls' hearts beat fast. They were all dreaming of becoming the queen. Chisom and Amaka hoped one of them would win, but they were also happy for each other. So, in this kingdom, a story of friendship, dreams, and a search for a true-hearted queen began. The big day arrived in the kingdom. It was the day of Prince Chima's test for the maidens. The village was buzzing with excitement. Everyone headed to the palace where the test would happen. The girls all dressed up in their most beautiful clothes. They were ready for the first part of the test, the dance competition. Prince Chima had planned 3 tests in total, but today was all about dancing. Chisom and Amaka were among the girls. They both loved to dance and had practiced a lot. When their turn came, they danced like never before. Their moves were smooth and graceful. Everyone watching was amazed. Even Prince Chima couldn't help but gave them a standing ovation. As the dance ended, the air was thick with applause. Prince Chima and the judges talked and then announced the 7 girls who did the best. Both Chisom and Amaka were chosen. They were so happy and hugged each other. That night, as everyone went back home talking about the dance at Amaka's house, her mother was thinking something different. She sold beautiful beads and was quite rich. So, she thought, if Amaka could pass all the tests and becomes the queen, she would become the supplier of beads to the palace, thereby making more money and becoming richer. That night, she called Amaka and told her, "You must find every possible way to win this test just for yourself, even if it requires betraying your best friend Chisom. Remember, she's now a rival and not a friend anymore. If you become the queen, We can sell our beads to the palace and become richer. She wanted Amaka to be the queen for her own reasons. Amaka listened, her heart torn, but didn't think like her mother. Though she loved her mother, she never expected such a selfish thought from her. Her friendship with Chisom was a bond she cherished deeply. She couldn't sleep that night. She loved her friend Chisom and was happy they both did well in the dance. But little did she know that things were starting to get complicated. Chisom, though innocent, had a secret plan for the next test that would be taking place the following day. So, in the kingdom, after a day of beautiful dances, the test was just beginning. Chisom and Amaka, still friends, were both moving on to the next part of the test, not knowing what was coming next. The next day, in the kingdom was all about cooking. The girls who did well in the dance were now going to cook for Prince Chima. It was the second part of the test to find the queen. The girls all brought their best dishes to the palace. They had cooked their favorite meals, hoping to impress the prince. Chisom and Amaka were both nervous but excited. When the time came, the dishes were presented to Prince Chima. The air was thick with the scents of spices and herbs, stories told on plates. One by one, the prince tasted the dishes, his expressions unreadable, like a book with its pages closed. Then came Chisom's turn. Chisom made a special dish, one her mother taught her. It was a secret recipe, full of flavor and made with love. She presented her food to Prince Chima. In that moment, something shifted. Prince Chima's eyes met Chisom's, and a connection sparked. The prince tasted her dish, and something amazing happened. He loved it so much that he stopped the competition right there. "This is the best dish I have ever tasted," he said. "I have found my queen." Everyone was surprised. There were whispers about Chisom's cooking. Some said it was like magic, but most people in the village were happy if Prince Chima was happy. Chisom was taken to the palace. She was going to be the future queen. Everyone in the palace loves her. She was respectful to the royal family and honored her husband, the prince. But things weren't the same outside the palace. Her friendship with Amaka wasn't the same anymore. Chisom started to change. She was busy with her new life in the palace, and Amaka felt left out. Whenever Amaka came to visit, she would tell the guards to tell her she was not around. She started avoiding Amaka and now feels on top of the world as the future queen of the kingdom. So, as Chisom started her new life in the palace, the friendship between her and Amaka began to face new challenges. The test had brought a big change, and no one knew what would happen next. Time went by in the kingdom and things started to change. Chisom, now living in the palace, began to act differently. She was no longer the girl everyone knew. She started to feel very important and didn't spend time with Amaka or the other villagers anymore. She was too busy being the future queen. But then something sad happened. King Okeke, Prince Chima's father, passed away. It was a big loss for the kingdom. Everyone was sad, and now Prince Chima was to be the king, and Chisom would also be crowned the queen. However, according to the tradition of the land, for Chisom, there was one more test to become the queen. This was the third test that Prince Chima told them would be announced at the end of the quest to become the queen of the kingdom. Chisom needed to have a child in order to be crowned alongside Prince Chima as the new queen of the kingdom. But as time passed, she couldn't have a baby. This worried her and Prince Chima a lot. Prince Chima, desperate to find out why they couldn't have a child, went to see the village priest one hot afternoon. The priest was wise and knew many things. After talking to Prince Chima, the priest said something shocking. He said there was a dark secret about the cooking test, that Chisom did something evil. She cheated. Prince Chima, worried, went back to the palace and called out Chisom. He asked her about the cooking test and if there was something she hadn't told him. At first, Chisom was quiet. She wanted to deny it, but couldn't. She knew, after all, that keeping the secret would not help her and the kingdom. So then she told the truth. She had used a love potion in her dish. That's why the prince had picked her. She told the prince that the night before the cooking contest, she overheard Amaka and her mother planning to find every possible way to win the quest to become the queen. So she thought she had to act fast. She then went to an herbalist who then gave her the love potion that she used in her meal. And after the prince tasted it, he had no choice but to fall in love with her. When the people in the kingdom heard about this, they were very surprised. No one expected Chisom to do something like that. It was a big shock and everyone talked about it. Chisom's secret changed how people saw her. She was no longer the admired future queen. Now, she was someone who had cheated to win. After the big secret was out, Chisom had to leave the palace. She was no longer going to be the queen. Prince Chima was very sad about all this. He felt heartbroken, but he also learned a lot from it. Then, Prince Chima started to see Amaka in a new way. He noticed how kind and honest she was. Amaka had always been there, with her true heart and caring spirit. So Prince Chima decided to ask Amaka if she would marry him and become the queen. Amaka was surprised but also very happy. She had always liked Prince Chima. She saw how good he was and knew he would be a great king. So, she said yes to his proposal. Not long after they got married, Amaka had a baby. This was a happy time in the kingdom. Everyone was glad that the prince had found a true queen, someone who loved him and the people. With Prince Chima and Queen Amaka ruling, the kingdom became a better place. They led with love and honesty. They cared about the people and always tried to do what was right. Under their rule, the kingdom grew stronger and happier. The people loved their king and queen because they were fair and kind. Amaka showed everyone what it really means to be a queen. It's not just about being pretty or living in a palace. It's about having a good heart and caring for others. And so, the kingdom flourished, filled with love and joy. Prince Chima and Queen Amaka's story was told for many years. They were remembered as the king and queen who brought happiness and peace to their land. The story of Prince Chima, Chisom, and Amaka teaches us several important moral lessons. It shows that true beauty and worth lie not just in physical appearance, but in one's character and actions. Chisom's fall from grace highlights the dangers of deceit and the emptiness of pride, while Amaka's rise to queen illustrates the power of honesty, loyalty, and a genuine heart. The story also teaches that seeking personal gain at the cost of others leads to downfall, and that true leadership is rooted in love, honesty, and respect for others. Ultimately, the tale reminds us that virtues like integrity, kindness, and humility are the real qualities that make someone worthy of admiration and respect. If you enjoy the story, please make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more stories like this one. Goodbye.